for the longest time, was one of the faces of not only European MMA, but Bellator MMA. He finally crosses over. He finally gets on the UFC stage, and he gets a big spot on one of the best cards of the year so far against a guy who was not all that complimentary of his resume and skills, but I think his tone would be a lot different on this Monday. He gets the win in super impressive fashion. Everything from the walkout to his demeanor in the cage to his actual technique to the results to the win. Everything was impressive. What a debut for Michael Venom Page. Delighted for him, and he is kind enough to join us. There he is, the man himself. How are you, sir? Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm still buzzing, man. Still buzzing. Here with the family, still out in Miami, and we're all just having a great time. So, yeah, buzzing.
Well, appreciate the time as always, and we won't keep you too long, but so happy for you because we've been watching you and talking to you for so long. It was actually kind of surreal because there's only so many guys left that you say like, oh, what would those guys look like in the UFC? So to see you make that walk was almost like a video game where you're like, what would it look like if MVP fought in the UFC? It was amazing to see. But could I ask, like, from when you got there, I would love to go like almost chronologically. What was it like being the new kid, being the rookie, so to speak? New faces, new behind-the-scenes people, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Did you feel comfortable or did it take you some time?
You know, all honesty, I felt comfortable immediately. And I've been saying this, and I have to say, I just want to keep bigging up the staff there because it was definitely due to how they were with me. I can kind of see there's a family, like even speaking to certain people, they've been there 17 years, they've been there 10 years, they've been there. So these guys have been together for a very long time. And I was immediately led to feel included in that. So it really didn't feel like, outside of getting to know who did what, it didn't really feel like I was the outsider. I felt like I'd been there for a long time. And a lot of the people that I was speaking to were all like, oh man, I've been watching you for years and it's exciting to have you here now. So they felt a sense of familiarity themselves. So yeah, it was, I have to say, I felt amazing from Monday right the way through. It was an unbelievable experience for me.
I know Miami isn't foreign to you, right? You have family there. You've been there a bunch of times. But did you feel Tuesday, Wednesday, like, did you feel nervousness? Did you feel anxiety more so than usual?
You know, I'd love to be able to just be like, yeah, it's, it was a bit more overwhelming and so on and so forth. But I can't say anything like that. I think I was probably more relaxed in this lead up to a fight simply because massive shout out to the PI guys that helped me with the food. That helped me with my rehydration. That helped me with my weight cut. That helped me with like anytime I had a few niggles that I needed sorting out. So like the massages, and I had cupping and shockwave, and I had so much stuff done that I normally I'm having to go and chase up myself. So between my coaches, myself, and like my teammates, they're running around town trying to organize a masseuse and trying to organize this and trying to organize that. And we had everything just in our hotel. I didn't have to think to do anything. And that made such a difference and truly made me feel like I'm actually an elite athlete now. So it was a great experience.
And just to be clear, and I'm not trying to get you to disparage Bellator or anything like that, would it be fair to say like that's not made available to you when you're fighting in Bellator?
Yeah, not at all, which is why we kind of have to figure things out ourselves. Obviously, they've got their own structure and way to do it, but they don't have like a PI service in the same way that the UFC does. And to be fair, I knew about the PI, but I just didn't know what came with it, especially during a fight week. So I understood outside of fight week, I can go and use the facilities, but there's not anything available for me in the UK. Not yet, anyway. I'm sure, in time they're gonna develop that area, but get into the fight week, I just thought it was going to be the typical fight week, and it really wasn't. The stuff, it really wasn't. It literally had blown my mind. Even I was with my teammate Norbert Naveni there. He's obviously part of Bellator, and he's just like, "What the hell? You do this? You do that?" Like he himself is blown away as well. So, it's definitely not the same. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Bellator. They've still got, they're playing catch up for a long time, so they had other things maybe to prioritize, but it's good to have this service in the background, 100%.
I loved one of the first times, if not the first time that you spoke at the press conference on Thursday, just you reacting to the crowd, to the scene. It was cool to see how appreciative you were of it and just you kind of reacting to one of those scenes for the first time as a UFC fighter. Would it be fair to say you've never experienced anything like that at a press conference before?
No way. Like, the press conferences that I've always been involved as much as it can be a public way, and it's very small, it's usually in a smaller room, and it's mainly media outlets like such as yourself and other media outlets that will be there to mainly ask questions and kind of get it on their feed. So it's not really an event. This one was an event, and I was sat on stage just looking around at, even down to the patch. These people, I couldn't hear anything people were saying because it was so loud in there. And you would think that this is the kind of energy that people would bring on a fight day, not at a press conference day 2 days before the fight. It was unbelievable. Even like as we were driving in, the line around the block for people waiting to come in, that in itself was like, what is going on here? And it is weird because I've seen it, but experiencing it is very different.
What was your take on Kevin's demeanor on that Thursday, like the comment about Bellator pay-per-views and all that stuff? I felt like he was trying to diminish you, and I think that is a big mistake when you're trying to build a fight. Why? Because then when you get dominated 2 days later, what does it say about you when you've been telling us that your opponent is trash, right? So what did you make of what he was saying leading up to it?
To be fair, I'm a very observant person, and so I don't pay too much attention to what people are saying. I more notice his persona, his behavioral patterns, and a lot of what he said, which probably led to him saying and making these comments, was he's nervous. Like he wasn't very confident in himself, even down to, they say compliment is when somebody is mimicking you, it's a big form of flattery, and literally, when I got on stage, I looked around, I was taking the energy of the room in, jumped on the scales. I looked over, some guy was waving, I grabbed my hat, I threw it over to him. Now, obviously, when I've done my bit, I walked off, I've turned back around, and I'm seeing Kevin take off his shoes and throw it to the same person. Again, that copying of my behavior, which is a random one anyway, like, why would he want your shoes?
Right.
But that copying of my behavior said to me he's nervous. Again, when I'm in there just being myself. When I raise the snake up, he's grabbing my hand or trying to copy me. That's you now. I'm now taking you out of your of what you would normally do, and you're more focused on what I'm doing. That is nerves to me. And I think literally, and I always say, anytime people see me clowning around in the cage, it's because I feel comfortable. After the first shot, I looked into his eyes and I said, this fight is mine. There's no way you're beating. There's nothing you can do right now that's going to beat me, because the reality has just kicked in. And I always wait for that moment, but it happened as soon as I hit him, because it's like, damn, that guy is actually fast. This guy is ridiculous. And then that's why I was like, let me start clowning around from now.
Wow. That is unbelievable. Does it usually happen that quickly?
No, but I just think as much as it can be made a big, people try to make it a big occasion for, the newcomer coming in. It, like you say, it's also a big occasion for the veteran, somebody that is known to be the guy that's supposed to win this fight. There's a lot of pressure that he can also put on himself in turn. And I think that's exactly what he's done. He's put a lot of pressure on himself, and it was just a little bit too much for him.
I was surprised by the walkout. We'll get to the fight in a moment, if only because I know that the UFC sometimes doesn't love that stuff and doesn't give people the creative liberty to do that. Just the fact that you even had a prop, the cape, if you will, that surprised me. I loved everything about it. I'm just wondering, could you tell us, like, soup to nuts, the process in terms of getting that approved? And did you have bigger plans that were shot down?
Yeah, I had a big plan. It was, and I genuinely, I'm such a creative mind, and I just can't turn that side of me off. So when I envision the fight day, it's not just my opponent and how I'm going to beat my opponent, how I'm going to defend against my opponent, how I'm going to attack my opponent. It's from the walkout to how I leave. So, I had an idea. Me and my family got together. We're talking about it. Yep, we got the track made, and we were going over it. So okay, let me present it to UFC now. And they took a little bit of time. I don't know if they I don't know what their process is of doing it, but it took a little bit of time to get back to me. And then it was like, no, we can't do that. And they actually said no to the track as well initially. And we kept pushing back, managed to get the track cleared, which was great. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do everything myself, which is why it was, for me, it still worked out.
Yeah.
And I still really enjoyed the walkout. But genuinely, if I was able to do what I wanted to do, yeah, it would have been the best walkout that anybody's seen in UFC.
Could I ask what it was?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to use it again now.
Okay.
I think it had its time. So, I'm going to pick the picture.
Okay,
I'm going to pick the picture. So initially it's Undertaker's track that comes in, and then it drops, and it starts the intro to the remix track that my brother-in-law has made, and we start to kind of cook in that area. But what happens initially is the lights go dark, and everybody's looking at the tunnel waiting for me to walk out, and then the spotlight was going to go onto the cage, and I was going to be in the cage. Yeah, so everyone's going to be like, wait, what? And obviously, again, I'm there in the hood. I'm still in my uniform. I do my sign. Just as the tune really drops, I do my sign. And when it drops, then the lights cut again and come back on. And I'm in the same position back at the tunnel.
What?
So everyone's like, wait, what? Like, wait, what? But what it was is my brother was going to be the one in the cage, and he's going to have the hood on. And anytime I lose weight, me and him look so similar as well. So you would, because he's got hair, but because he's got the hood on, you wouldn't have told, because he looks, like, stature-wise, he looks exactly like me at that time. People would have been like, what just happened? Like, and they would have been just like blown away by that. Then I would have come with the same energy of the entrance and kind of walk in. But people, I think people would have just been like
that would have
blown
been
away
sick.
by that. Yeah.
Did it ever get close to being approved?
Again, like I said, we always try to push my luck back and forth. Is there anything I could do? Asking questions, and I tried to actually I tried to make it as simple as possible, that I didn't have to run around doing anything crazy, because it's somebody else. All I just needed him to be is escorted into the cage and escorted straight back out as soon as the right cues. And I had it all planned out. And the thing is, I can tell, even when I'm speaking to the team, they can tell I'm not just throwing ideas that I haven't really taken time to think about. I told them the timestamps and this. Okay, at 1 minute, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This. So I really do pay attention, and I'm detailed about it. And I did it considering I don't want the UFC or any of the guys to do too much running around. It would have been one security guard, and obviously just timing of the lights. I'd have been happy to do the performance the day before, like a rehearsal the day before, just to get that right. And but yeah, I get it. If I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep coming up with creativity. Like I said, I just can't turn that side off of me. And I love to entertain. So regardless, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm probably going to keep annoying a few people, but hopefully they understand that what I'm trying to do for everybody. And I think it's massively. I don't know if you saw, but Undertaker himself.
Yes.
Tweeted about it, and even like that, and that was on half the performance.
That was amazing.
If you saw that, like, I just think it would have been even bigger.
Just curious, what was the reason you were told as to why they didn't want to do it?
To be fair, there's so much going on. I understand they have to. I don't overpress. I just try to see if I could, what more I can get out of it. And as soon as I understand the tools that are in front of me, then I make it work. There's no need for me to stress about it. It's just an idea that I had. We couldn't make it happen this time. I'm going to make another idea work next time. And I think hopefully they're going to slowly see that. Oh no, give this guy a little bit more freedom, because he's on point with this kind of stuff. And I even down to the understanding of how the cameras are working and what's the timing of the cameras. I'm very into all that kind of stuff anyway. So it would have been a lot more seamless than they maybe would have thought. But again, they have to understand and get used to me the same way I have to understand and get used to them.
So even in the locker room beforehand, no extra nerves? You didn't feel off? You didn't feel, the feet were heavy? Nothing like that?
Not at all. I was feeling unbelievable in the locker room. And I always say, when I get into MVP mode, everything else just disappears. It's just getting myself into that state of mind. I think before that, you get creepy, things creep in and creep out, things, what if this happens, or maybe this might go wrong, But the second I'm in that zone and I'm just pacing around, and even O'Malley's team, because we were in the same locker room, they were watching me and they're like, because you can see them kind of whispering to each other, like, wow, I was on fire. I was feeling amazing in that change room, really was. So, at that state, at that point, nothing can faze me.
I was so happy that we got to see vintage MVP in there. I didn't know if we were going to get to see like the UFC stripped down version and you would try to play it kind of corporate in your first appearance. You gave us pretty much, the full show, which was tremendous because I know there's a lot of people who maybe haven't seen you before who are just UFC fans and like, holy shit, look at this guy. Are you happy with the body of work? Are you happy with how you fought?
Yes, I keep saying I'm heavily critical of myself first, and normally I have a little bit of time to get that out of my system before I can start answering questions. But I got pulled straight to media, and there's a lot of media like to go through. And at the time, I was just being like, I was going through that normal process. I was like, man, I should have done this, I should have done that, and my coach, after the first couple of talks, my coach came out. I was like, what are you talking about? Do you not see what you just did? People, remember, you came in here and nobody expected you to win, let alone dominate. So please just be aware of that. And just when you have the rest of your interviews, relax. Don't be so hard on yourself. But I needed to hear that. But like I said, I was just caught in that. That's usually how I am. So I knew I could have finished him. In my opinion, I know he's a tough guy, but I knew I could finish him. And I knew if I pushed a little bit more, I could have landed the shots that I needed to finish him. And that's what I was very annoyed about. But then when I take a step back, I'm like, mate, this guy is one of the toughest guys in that division. Nobody's stopped him before. Nobody's made him even look like that. He's normally the one talking and stuff. I basically canceled that out and I didn't have to say anything to do it. So be happy with your performance. And yeah, you know what? It was a good performance. I just know I have more.
From this vantage point, it seemed like the most interesting thing was that you really frustrated him to the point in the last few minutes of the third, he's like losing, he's like kind of mocking you just out of frustration. He has nothing else that he could do. It's not like he's trying to like pour it on you and steal the round. He doesn't even know what to do. Did you feel that from the get-go that you were supremely frustrating him?
100%. You can really tell he was getting frustrated in there, and he thrives off of war. Because he's a tough man. He thrives off of war. I took that away from him. I don't get into battles. I'm a surgeon. I'm just finding exactly what I need to do. I'm not trying to get into these wars. I don't need to. I can do. And for those that saw me in the bare knuckle fight, they know if I need to dig my feet down and have a scrap, I have that in my locker as well. But that's not my plan A. That's plan Z. If I need to and I'm losing a fight and I need to get this win, then yeah, I'm gonna go and try and put it all on the line. But I don't start with that. Whereas his style is he likes to be in the mix, and it allows him to then keep hyping himself up. He's landing shots, he's getting hit, and then he can talk. But where he's not landing shots, where he's still getting hit, that's added to the frustration. When I'm clowning in front of him, it brings back memories of things that he would have seen of me prior to, thinking like, oh, there's no way he can do that to me. Adds more frustration. And yeah, for me, it's exactly what I thought, how I thought it was going to go, bar I definitely thought I was going to be able to knock him out.
Did you watch the fight? Have you watched it since?
I haven't yet. I've just literally, it's just been family. And they had watched it last night again, but I want to watch it by myself, you know what I mean? Because otherwise there's still that energy in the room, and I literally want to sit down and analyze a couple of things. So I'll probably do it over the next couple of days.
I was just curious if you saw the clip of him between the first and second rounds where he tells his corner, like, guys, he's faster than we thought he was. Did you see that? And did that give you any joy, or did you hear about this?
Yeah, I heard it. So a lot of the family, they're still watching everything that's going on. I haven't had a chance to yet, but yeah, everyone's been telling me, oh yeah, did you hear what he said? And and then there's another clip of him afterwards. He's like saying, I just got beat by a Bellator guy or something like that. Yes. So I'm getting random clips like sent to me, but yeah, again, I knew that is me. I knew I'm just constantly gonna have to keep proving to everybody else that that's the case. And even down to, and I've said this from before, I've always been heavily criticized about, my opponents and stuff. And I always say it's because of my style of fighting. It's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is it looks beautiful, but then it looks so beautiful that it becomes effortless and looks effortless. So therefore it diminishes what my opponents, like the credibility of my opponents. Then you have somebody like Kevin Holland that couldn't touch me. And now everyone has to question, like, okay, maybe everybody else, they were tough enough, but it's just this particular guy. He is that fast. And now we've seen it at the top level with somebody that is that tough. And what he's done to him, hopefully people will, slowly learn. But if not, I'm happy to keep proving it.
Can you share what you guys said to each other at the end of the fight?
What did I say? We were still kind of like joking around with him. And I was like, oh, okay. And as soon as the bell, I knew I had won the fight. And as soon as the bell went, I was like, Kevin, you could have done better than that. And he's like, what did you say? I was like, yeah, you could have done better than that. And he's like, yeah, but I hate fighting guys like you. You guys move too much. And like, we just started kind of, he's like, no, but I respect you though. And I was like, nah, come on. I'm only playing. I respect you as well. Thank you for sharing the cage. We just had like a nice interaction there. And it just kind of like, it was all cool.
Afterwards, I saw the Dana White press conference. What did you make of him saying we have to do a better job of matching him up in his next fight? Or I'm maybe paraphrasing and getting it wrong, but did you see his clip of talking about you saying like we need to like match him up,
do a good job? Yeah.
Like, what do you make of that statement?
Yeah, I'm not. To be fair, I still don't quite understand in terms of what though, why the statement came up. I understand the statement, but I don't know if it means it in a good or bad way.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, for me, it doesn't bother me. I genuinely like whoever you want to bring, whoever you're going to put in front of me, I'm happy. Let's go. I want to survive in the deep end right now. I don't want to be anywhere else.
Did you speak to him after the fight?
I didn't get a chance to, unfortunately, and obviously he got rushed. We kind of was crossing paths. I was still having to do media. I think I was doing media for at least an hour and a half after the show, still in my fight shorts, running around. But to be fair, I had the energy was high still, so it was cool. But yeah, I didn't really get a chance to sit down with him. Hopefully we get to talk at some point as well.
I also couldn't tell how he felt about the walkout and if he's going to try to strip that away as well. He was asked about that in the Michelle Pereira walkout, which was different than yours, but obviously unique. Yeah. I love that stuff. I want more of that stuff. Yeah. But he infamously or notoriously has said he doesn't like that stuff. So what do you think, based on what he said?
Yeah, he seems like he's against it. And this is something that I always suspected in particular. Anytime I thought of seeing myself in the UFC, I thought I may piss him off a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, if I do what I do in the cage on the other side, he will allow for even things that annoy him to exist, in my opinion. So I just got to keep making sure I put on good performances so that it's almost like I have to pay in the meter. Yeah. I got that, and those KOs and flashy attractive wins is me putting in the meter, and then hopefully I get some credit on the other side.
Who makes sense next, in your opinion? You've had a couple of days to think about it. What are you feeling?
Yeah, genuinely, I don't know. I'm still kind of riding this wave of what's just happened. Like I said, until I've stepped and graced that cage, I'm not a UFC fighter. I'm finally a UFC athlete. Like I can consider myself a UFC athlete now. Who's next? I'm not sure. I'm not screaming for anybody in particular. Whoever wants to jump in front of this train, then let's see who wins.
There's some big talks of a potential event in England in July, maybe Manchester. That's been discussed. Does that make sense for you? Would you like to fight back in England in the UFC, or do you like the idea of remaining in America?
Oh no, I'll fight anywhere. The only thing is I'm really eager to fight in places that I haven't fought before.
Right.
Well, one place. It's only because he's mentioned it already. Vegas in the Sphere. And again, my creative mind is going crazy because if he said it was just Vegas, I know Vegas comes around regularly, so I wouldn't really care as much. Because it's in the Sphere, I'm like, I already know creatively what I can do as a walkout, as this and that. And I guess they'll probably be a bit more into it because it's just, that's part of the package of going into the Sphere and fighting. So I'm just like, my mind's already going about what I can do there. If it's July, I don't know if I'd have enough time to get back for September. Maybe I'll wait for September and then do another close fight after that. I don't know. But yeah, of course, in my opinion, England's not going anywhere. If I don't get a chance to get into it on this one, then I'll definitely be there supporting all the guys, and I'll definitely be back at, the very next time they're there. If I don't, but if it makes sense, then let's do it.
The name that I've heard a lot of people say is Wonderboy Thompson. Does that interest you?
It's weird because obviously I've been hearing this from before I even got to the UFC, and I always tell people the same thing. Two positives doesn't always make a positive. What will be a great fight for me and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson will look like a terrible fight for everybody else, because we'll go back into autopilot of our point scoring system, and there's a lot of battles that happen without anything really happening, because as soon as I'm about to throw that punch, I can sense that he's pulling, he's got that counter ready, and then I'll break away, and we're like, oh, okay. So there's going to be a lot of not much happening, in my opinion. I could be also wrong, and it could just be an amazing fight. But from my experience of fighting high level points fighters, and at my skill, it slows everything down. It's like two grapplers like canceling each other out and then having to strike. You see what I mean? I think it can potentially be like that. And also, I just think the guy's an amazing guy. I'm sure everyone thinks he's an amazing guy, but just seriously, meet him, spending time with him, I have so much love and respect for him. Would that be my first choice? Not at all. Am I a prize fighter? And if it's presented, would I take it? Yes, of course. But yeah, I don't think it's as good as everybody thinks it may be.
You versus Leon would be gigantic. How far away do you think you are from that potentially being a thing now?
Oh, I'd go tomorrow, but that's just me. It's down to the guys at the top. One more fight just to really wet my feet, and then we can go. But it's not my decision. It's not my decision at all. I'm eager to make it happen. At the same time, maybe it takes me a few fights just to build that real noise so we can fill out a stadium. But I think people are watching are already curious about that already. Yeah. So, let's make it happen.
By the way, are you? I feel like you are. Are you familiar with this young man from England named Ben Whittaker, who I feel like is MVP, but in the world of boxing? Have you seen his highlights? Yeah. Have you seen him fight? And
I was at that fight.
You were there. Okay. What do you make? I feel like you would love it. He is. He's pissing people off like you sometimes piss people off in MMA, but I think it's incredibly entertaining.
It's incredibly entertaining, and I don't understand, like, when the referees warning him about, the showboating element and stuff. I'm like, technically he's putting himself at risk. He's not really doing anything bad. The crowd love it. They even booed the referee for stopping him do certain things. I don't get when you get those kind of, those boxing pugilists that, like, it has to just be, gentleman versus gentleman boxing, like. But we've evolved from that. There's so much style and swagger. And I can't even say nowadays, because one of my favorite boxers is Whittaker. What an amazing boxer. And he had so much style. Roy Jones Jr., Lemonchenko. There's so many different guys in boxing, but it's like they always go against it first until he gets to the top. But for me, what actually stood out to me the most is his basics, his clean 1-2s and body shot, which dropped his opponent, is equally as effective. The showmanship is just an added bonus, and that's what's more dangerous for me.
Were you surprised to see AJ do that to Francis?
I was definitely surprised I was definitely surprised it happened that way. But technically, what we saw is what should happen. Technically. I think it's Francis Ngannou's mistake. Even my coach was like, if you go southpaw and that's not something that you are comfortable with defensively, then you can go southpaw and you go on the front foot immediately. You can't go southpaw and sit there and wait, because your responses are different. You usually slip the wrong way. You make mistakes, a lot more mistakes in southpaw. Oh,
did we lose him?
Yeah, we did. We'll get him right back.
All right. Great insight there about Anthony Joshua, fellow Brit, and obviously Ben Whittaker. We had Ben Whittaker on just a couple of weeks ago, and if you're unfamiliar with him, he's the Olympic silver medalist who is taking the world of British boxing, at least for now, by storm. He fights for Boxer, and he had that fight, I think it was early March? No, sorry, not back. Early February, where he was clowning his opponent. We have him back? There he is. Okay. Sorry, we lost you.
Yes. Yeah, it just cut out. I'm not sure where, but
about Francis being southpaw.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. If he's when he went, obviously we saw it in against the Fury, but I felt he was pressing a bit more when he went southpaw instead of going southpaw and sitting down and waiting, because his defense is southpaw is not, your reaction skills are not going to be the same. It seems like it's the same thing, but it's not. You're going to slip the wrong way. You just make the bad decisions. But after the first knockdown, I saw AJ's confidence skyrocket through the roof. And then I was just like, it's now we're going to start to see the old AJ. And even down to after that last, which was an amazing shot, everybody saw him practicing that shot in the back in the changing room. After he landed that shot, it took him about 4 or 5 minutes to get out of that mode.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't celebrate straight away. He was still stuck in this like fight mode, which I was like, man, this is what I want to see from you, AJ. That's my boy.
Yeah.
This is what I want to see. The confidence from this fight, hopefully they've just made the right decision. It's going to skyrocket him into, now this AJ is the guy that I can see beating Fury and beating everybody else, beating Deontay Wilder. I can see this AJ getting back to the top, and I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for him.
Well, I am so happy for you, my friend. Honestly, one of the nicest people that we've ever come across covering this. You've never changed. You really haven't. And I don't suspect you change now that you're a UFC superstar. And I'm sure a lot more people are following you and writing to you and doing all this stuff. And by the way, kudos, like even the video you put out on Saturday, the Death Note thing, like you did such a good job from beginning to end of just doing this your own way. I hope they don't stifle that, because you're just such a showman and so creative, and it's such a pleasure to watch you do your thing. So thanks as always for the time. Congrats. Enjoy the time with the family, and can't wait to see you back out there soon. And by the way, rumors of you coming to New York. If you come to New York, please, I'd love to have you in studio.
Yes. I should be coming over around the 19th. If anybody has can help me out, message me and just let me know what else is about. But yes, I can't come to New York and not come and see you. So I'll definitely be there.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. Congrats, my man.
Thank
Enjoy.
you for having me. Thank you.
There he is, the great Michael Venom Page. What a fantastic win. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You can get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.